2025 Toyota Crown. In Toyota's sedan hierarchy, the Crown sits above the mid-size Camry but isn't actually bigger than the Camry. Not by much anyway. The Crown is an inch longer between the wheels, a couple of inches longer overall depending on trim, 4 inches taller in overall height, but exactly the same in width, and, despite what the crossover-style plastic fender cladding might suggest, a mere 0.1 inches higher in terms of ground clearance. Where it does differentiate itself from Toyota's bread-and-butter sedan, then, is in its style and content. Style-wise, the Crown comes off as weird but in a cool way. The lift-back proportions and two-tone color scheme set it apart from more pedestrian family sedans, while luxury car-aping details mark it as a car that will likely be looked back upon as emblematically 2020s. Stuff like the floating D-pillar, unibrow taillight bar, and massive grille. Speaking of massive, those 21-inch wheels are the biggest to ever come on a Toyota sedan from the factory and indeed look gigantic in person, giving the whole thing a vaguely off-roadable look, especially when paired with knobby winter tires and blacked-out SUV-style fenders. Where I truly fell in like with the Crown, however, was inside. I love the shapes that make up this interior. Everything looks upright, purposeful, and dignified. Nothing is too jagged or blocky in the name of 8-bit retro, and nothing is too swoopy for the sake of being swoopy. Everything is purposeful, mature, and stupid easy to make sense of. The bronze trim and seat piping in this platinum trim, however, give it just a touch of panache. Innate viz ornate luxury. Ease of use became a theme with this car. Everything you'd want to be a button is a button. Everything you'd want to be a knob is a knob. Everything you'd want to be lit up at night is lit up at night. Everything is clear. Everything is visible. Everything is uncomplicated. Even the screens that are there minus 12.3 inches in the center are adequately big, adequately sharp, and adequately responsive but never overwhelming. How many so-called luxury cars today can claim all of that? If we're being frank, none of them. I genuinely cannot remember the last time I settled into a new vehicle from a luxury manufacturer and didn't encounter at least one user interface item that would not have been easier to use if it was less fancy, read, photographed worse in a brochure. Way too many of them are getting way too comfortable relegating HVAC controls to a glossy touch panel or worse, a menu within the infotainment touchscreen. Christ sui. But even by a more traditional definition, the Crown is plenty luxurious. The seats are soft and comfortable, as is the ride. The rear seats are reasonably spacious and have their own vents, USB-C ports, and heating. A big pano roof makes the space airy and pleasant, and the 11-speaker AJBL sound system is nice and clear. To discerning listeners, it will never compare to, say, the Bowers and Wilkins system in a Volvo. But something tells me if Toyota simply slapped those same Bowers logos on this system, a whole lot of people would never bat an ear. On the road, as nice as this car is as an item to interact with and be inside, it's a similar story once you get it out onto the road. The Toyota Crown is smooth, easy, comfortable, and stress-free motoring. It steers and brakes with a light, fussless responsiveness with little to no adjustment period. The 340 horsepower Hybrid Max powertrain is certifiably speedy, but never in an overly aggressive way. 0 to 60 miles per hour happens in 5.7 seconds, just as quick as the $70,000 electric BMW that is the i5 iDrive 40, and feels like just the right amount of pace for an everyday commuter. In spite of the big 21-inch wheels, the Crown rides great even over big bumps, and I suspect things become even cushier with the smaller 19-inch wheel option. Outward visibility is decent, and despite the marginal increase in ground clearance over the Camry on paper, you do seem to sit higher compared to a normal sedan. It is about as easy to get in and out of as a compact crossover, and you walk into it rather than climbing down, while foregoing the unimaginative pleb image that comes with actually driving a compact crossover. It's all quite satisfying. If I have to point out flaws, the button that lets you open the trunk from the outside is tiny and hard to find. Observed fuel economy of 26 amp fell short of official EPA figures, and for whatever reason, the Japanese version of this car looks way cooler on the outside. If you enjoyed these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for future interesting videos. Thanks for watching.